Red button's on. You know what that means. You're a media guy now, Kyle.
I'm the media guy. Camera one's rolling. Only camera one.
Only one camera.
All
today.
the producers are here. Producer 1 and 2 are home.
Yeah.
Probably sleeping.
One producer of them, 2 is asleep.
Producer 2 is asleep.
God bless him.
Oh, God, I love when he sleeps.
Producer 1. So Delaney now sleeps. She did this the last time she was pregnant too, where she would be doing stuff near the bed. And then she would just sort of sit down by the bed, and then all of a sudden her head is on the bed, and 20 minutes later she wakes up and she's like, well, I didn't mean to fall asleep. I'm like, I've seen this movie before, Delaney.
She's got a system.
She's got a system. So Delaney takes little cat naps.
Sounds nice. You get a little afternoon cat naps in.
Yeah, and especially needed right now because life is a little chaotic.
Yeah, you're on the move.
Yeah.
Bouncing around, getting ready. I see you got some maroon and gray and some Florida State stuff on.
Yeah, garnet and gold.
Official bad luck charm for their football program.
Yep. Hey, we had a heinous win over Cal last week. Okay, I couldn't. I turned it on. Evan was over, and we were watching, and it was like 9-7 in the third quarter. And I was like, Ev, we gotta. I can't.
Kind of like your Baltimore
I can't.
Ravens.
Not great 3-quarter team. Not a fourth quarter football team.
Did the Ravens lose this weekend too?
We were up 28-3 going into the fourth quarter.
Oh boy!
And I leave for no jump, and Dallas had scored a touchdown, so it's 28-10. Like, we're fine. Get to no jump. Now it's 28-16. Play a warm up game. 28-25.
Oh my!
We finished it. We finished it, but it wasn't good.
Wasn't
Wasn't pretty.
Meanwhile,
the Vikes.
I was just say Vikings 3-0. I think.
Got Sam Darnold. Quarterback. Also, I feel like we had low expectations. My expectations were low for our team, especially after McCarthy went down.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually better off with Darnold, let's be honest, than starting a rookie. So we're doing good. Let's not jinx it, though.
That's good because if you're a Dolphins fan, we were third down. There was like a meme about high expectations, and then
I just drove over multiple times right past where Tyreek Hill was like
handcuffed and arrested.
The event was right.
Gosh.
Inside the fence of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, Tua's out for 4 weeks with a concussion protocol. Backup quarterback comes in, maybe longer. Backup quarterback comes in, 1 quarter in, he lands on his shoulder kind of funky. He's out. Third string comes in, and there's like a meme of how's Dolphins offense looking, and it was like 3rd and 46. Like that's about right. So it's going to be a hard year. It's going to be a hard year for the Dolphins.
So right now, Florida sports, we got the Dolphins, tough shape. The Jags, tough shape. Florida State Seminoles, not great.
Not great.
Florida Gators, not great. Meanwhile, the Miami Mayhem.
A little bit of mayhem. Yeah, second place in the league. I saw the standings. I was like, oh, I didn't know that was second place. Just going 3-1 for the weekend was second place, which is great.
I'm just realizing this. Like, what are the odds that the biggest Miami sports fan happens to randomly coaching?
I know, it's great.
Right.
That's what we were just talking about.
I was wondering what jersey he was going to roll in with.
We went with the OG Alonzo Mourning, little throwback edition here. It was pretty clean. Had a nice selection to choose from.
Haslam. Haslam's for a true fan, I feel like.
Haslam's a true OG, and I'm embarrassed to say, as a Miami fan, I don't have a Haslam jersey. Well, I should probably get one.
Now that you're going to be on TV every other weekend,
highlighting Miami. I know, it's great.
Jersey
every time. I know. We talked about April during the walk-in because April and Alix were all dressed up for their walk-in, and my thought going down there was like, all right, the walk-ins are for the players.
Right.
Like they were like, oh, maybe you can hold it back. I'm like, yeah, give me your bag. So like, I'll post a photo. I think Lisa grabbed one of me of like holding 3 different bags with the girls walking in front. And I'm just like holding my bags. And then this morning, April's like, you need to dress up. You need to dress up for San Diego. She's like, just do it. Who cares? She's like, just dress up, look nice. I'm like, all right. So
look nice in terms of, because I think like,
this is nice.
That's nice.
And I could have, done something like that. My thought wasn't really thinking of that. It was just more so like get the girls, get the looks and stuff like that. But maybe San Diego will dress it up, and maybe it'll be Miami themed, considering we are Miami Mayhem. What a coincidence. I think I liked Mel's outfit in the walkout. I don't know if you saw Mel.
I didn't see.
Much on you.
Yeah.
Maybe stick with Miami theme.
Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, the crop top that Mel wore and the bandana was super cute, but maybe not for this physique. Not for this physique.
You're still in shape. So
Yeah.
You do you, bro.
Yeah, we'll do me.
And it's 0 for 1. It's the outfit's fault sometimes.
Hey,
I'm a little stitious, so
that's right.
You lose in an outfit, it's on the bench.
Yes, the beating Mel and Brandy was awesome down there. April now
seriously.
played really good. We know they've been working really hard the last 3 weeks, and I'm super stoked that we went out there, and I think we had a good game plan. We just had like really good energy and focus, and I think this style, we've talked about it, benefits my team and April and Alix in terms of it's a sprint. Mm-hmm. They don't need to play 3 matches in a day. It's not a battle of conditioning. When you get into the semifinals of Manhattan Beach, you've played 6 matches. Nope, just a sprint.
It's really built for them now with where they're at in their lives and careers.
It's built for them, and it's cool that they get to participate. And April is constantly talking about how grateful she is when she gets interviewed that they're there and they get to be involved, and it's super awesome. And in my opinion, Mel and Brandy, the best team that we have in the States right now in the league because of their silver medal. I mean, and yeah, we played really good, and I was really happy. And I was just going in that weekend, just low expectations. Go out and do our best, see how we compete. The girls knew it was going to be a tough weekend. You got TKN and Mel and Brandy in week 1. And so that was a huge win for us. And I think the mood was super high, and we executed how we wanted. We served super tough. That was part of our goal. And April played phenomenal defense. A couple over on ones, she still got it. There was a couple, we run in some 4s or bunny ears or whatever we call it. And she audibles, here and there randomly. And then she gets over, she doubles up in the angle. And I'm like, what did you see? She's like, I just felt, the flow of the game. And I just felt like Mel was going to hit a jumbo. And I'm like, unbelievable. Like,
does she tell Alix?
No.
So she goes rogue.
She goes rogue.
And they've got that trust where that's fine.
Yeah, she got that trust. I think Alix looks back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, no worries. You did it. It worked or it didn't work. You know. But most of the time when April does it, it doesn't happen very often that she audibles. But when she does, it's like the right time. It's the right time. And I'm like shocked. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
we had we just did a fan question episode about the league, and one of them came in, and I thought the question is good to ask, but sort of ridiculous in concept. That do you think that April and Alix felt they had something to prove because they got the wild card? They didn't qualify via points. I said no, because what do April and Alix have left to prove to anyone?
Especially in there, like knowing how hyper elite competitive they are.
Yeah.
They're like it actually, I think, is going to help their performance throughout the year because they got this wild.
Just
and
they
don't want it to seem like they didn't deserve it, and they were, because everyone knows they were getting married and like. So in theory, you're partying and enjoying your life, which absolutely they deserve.
For sure.
They've been waiting to do for a long time. But yeah, in my mind, picturing their mindsets, they're like, no. Now we got something to prove.
Yeah.
I agree more with Try, and then my feeling is that there was, maybe they didn't specifically say it, but a little bit of extra motivation to show, like, hey, I know we got the wild card, but we can still compete at a high level.
Right.
And then for them is, I think they feel as if they're not where they want to be physically, they're not where they want to be on the volleyball level, and so coming out there, I know that they're both so ultra competitive, and so they want to prove that they should be there. And it's funny, like you said, they don't need to.
No.
They don't need to, but I think they're using it as a little bit extra motivation. Some of these teams, don't want to earlier in the summer not want to practice with April and Alix because they want to practice with better teams, or
Can you imagine?
just like saying
there's all this motivation there, and Alix and April are absolutely going to grab it.
Right, take it all, and it's like, okay, like no worries, and then that's just one little extra motivation to come out and play tough and compete at a high level, which they only have one speed, I think, and being with them in the box, I'm super honored and grateful to be with them, and that April and Alix asked me to work with them and coach them. It's like so rad. And being in the box and listening to them talk and then dialogue, it's like, it's very clear. If they disagree on something, I'll be quick to say, nope, I don't feel that way. And I'll be like, okay, great. This is what I'm feeling then. Or it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe. No, it's like, it's very direct. It's very clear, but it's trusting. Even if it is disagreeing, there's a lot of trust. And April's dialogue, it's so freaking good on the court. It's motivating. It's purposeful. She's always giving Al the right call. it's like hungry and open to learn and open for information to receive. It's like, it's so awesome to be so close to hear it all. And I've known April for a long time, and I've seen her compete, and I've been around it, but not in the box to hear it and be on the court all the time, because it's one speed and it's focused, and it's so rad. And I just want to commend April on the dialogue. There's so many things that are great what April does, but the dialogue, I mean, that's something you can control. And if I'm younger players, I'm like, oof, how does that talk? How does that look? And the trust, and it takes time to build that trust with your partner about saying what's on your mind and speaking how you feel. But it's really cool. And I'm like taking my notes as I'm coaching them as well.
That's what I was going to say is like, how do you feel like you fit in as a new coach, kind of like developing this? I've kind of been able to watch Travis start his coaching career. It's like, it seems very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially seeing someone have to coach me and like trying to coach April.
Yes.
Someone who should, in their mind, should know everything.
Yeah.
Like whatever you want to call that. But how's it like working in with those two?
Yeah, I think I had some anxiety coming in to like the first couple of days of practice, maybe a little imposter syndrome. That, oh man, this team is like way above my pay grade. But they've given me, and they said that they want to work with me. They didn't want anyone else at the time. And I'm like, awesome. Like that gives me a lot of confidence to hear that. And I have to trust that I've been playing this game a long time. I've been all over the world. I've had many different coaches over this time. I've been to hundreds of USA practices with them, helping them during their Tokyo run. Anytime April and Alix needed a training partner or Jen needed someone to come fill in, I'd love to just go and listen and be a part of it. And so I feel like I've been fortunate to be in a place where I've been able to take little nuggets from many different people and coaches and players, and then start to implement things with them. And I think they have put a lot of trust in me. And early on in the first couple of days of practice, they were like, hey, we don't want you to build us up. We want you to be direct. We want you to tell us what you see and give us the feedback. And it's been good. And I have been doing that. And they've been responsive, I would say. And there's been little tweaks, some of the things that April has been working on, some of the speed of the approach. And she's like, oh my God, Kyle, that was a huge light bulb moment for me. Like that sort of fast. It's been so helpful. And I'm like, awesome. And sometimes just the dialogue that I say to myself has been different than how April and Alix have talked to themselves or what they've heard from different coaches in the past. And so it's been 3 weeks, maybe almost 4. This is week 4 now. And so I feel way more settled with them and a lot more trust in practice and saying exactly what I feel and what's on my mind and providing the feedback without worrying about, oh, is that like too much? Or like they don't like that.
Do they oversee practice plans a bit? Because I know a lot of players I started with Hayden. Like, of course,
right.
He's
yeah.
on top of the practice plan, no matter what the coach does.
Yeah, honestly, no. They've given me full control and full freedom to run practice. And I'll tell them, hey, this is what I want to do. This is my goal. This is the purpose of this drill. And so great, awesome. They're dialed in. Hey, this is really fun drill. This was different. Never done this before. And so some of the stuff that I've done in my practices, they've never done. Right. So it's cool to kind of bring some of those drills and different things in. But a ton of trust from them. And hey, do you like this? Is this good? Yeah, maybe we'll tweak this. So there's definitely some back and forth, but a ton of trust on their part and letting me just run practice with them.
You had a built-in rapport already with April because you lived with her. You have a long history with April. Yeah. Did that make it easier or harder? I'm probably in some ways probably a little bit both because you already have that relationship. And then second half of that question would be, how do you go about building that with Al on a somewhat cramped timeline?
Yes,
because you had to compete in week 3 of you kind of helping them as a coach.
Yeah. And so first question, I would say my relationship with April has definitely helped me get to a trusting point with them and build some trust. And I think over the years, April has trusted, my advice or my dialogue about volleyball when we do talk. And so I think that already had a good baseline with April. And Alix has been around as well, and I've come to tons of their practices. So Al and I, we're friends. We don't hang out necessarily on the weekends or anything like that, but I've known Al for a while, so that was good. And the second question was, sorry.
That was it. That was
it?
Question 2.
Oh, okay, yeah. And Al, I think it's just getting better, and like you've talked about, where you can just look at Julia or Betsy and it's like, okay, they know what I mean. And we're not there yet, right? Yeah. But today I remember I was about to say something and April said exactly what I was going to say. And I'm like, perfect, great, awesome. That's what I want to do. Even in the match, I was like, hey, we need to don't commit to that high line on Kristen. Let's just shuffle, let's stay balanced. She's like, I'm not going to, okay, don't commit. Okay, great. Awesome. So the trust is getting better. The trust is getting better, I think, between the three of us. And I think the fact that we do have a relationship, it only strengthens the trust that we have and how much more feedback I can give them. And it just only help us grow, I think, as a team.
Yeah. And you're coaching Trev and Theo too?
I just helped Trev and Theo
Got it.
in Miami. I haven't been working with them at all.
Okay.
Obviously, I see Trevor a lot. I see Theo a lot. We play a lot of no jump, and so we're buds and we have a relationship. But they didn't have anyone coming, and so they asked if I could help them, and I said I will sit in your box if you would like me to, and they said sure, that'd be great. So that was easy. And not a lot of responsibility on my part. Give a couple nuggets of feedback, things that I see. They're pretty dialed in. They have a unique relationship and a partnership, however you want to say it.
We had a podcast.
Yeah. You can go listen to that. They played great, and it was fun to be in their box and serve them balls and help them out. They played phenomenal. And at the end of the day, if our counterparts did have a coach there, another Miami Mayhem team, whether it was Trevor Theo or whoever it was, I'd love to help those guys out,
right.
or, that other men's team out, because we're a team.
Yeah.
And that's what's so cool about the league is you got people cheering for each other. We're playing Trevor and Theo are playing Billy and Paul, Billy and Lottie, and Taryn and Kristen are over here heckling me in the box. It's like, it's so fun.
It's a cool dynamic that we've never had. And I just felt like it always has lacked that team, like people cheering for each other.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like every player on the sidelines is just hoping both teams lose.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how we cheer
Yeah.
for each other.
Yeah.
It's weird because then players don't want to watch because it's just a bad feeling.
Yeah, I don't watch.
Right. And that's a normal tournament, whereas now teams are playing one match, so they're done for the day. So they don't need to sit inside all afternoon and put their legs up or anything like that, because they can come out and watch and heckle and cheer and
Mingle with the
support,
fans.
mingle with the fans. Everyone's in the same spot, which is so different. And the energy, I think, was just so unique and so different than a normal tournament there. I mean, I think Brandy came over and grabbed my neck as I was coaching against Trevor and Theo, coaching against Phil, and those guys, and so they're just heckling. It's just really fun.
Yeah.
You would never ever do that in
Right.
a normal match. The other opponents or team would never come up to the coach's box or anything like that. So that makes it really fun, I think.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of fan interaction, and players were there, even though maybe they're not up in the stands or anything accessible from VIP, but like fans can look down and see them watching and see them cheering.
Yeah.
Yell at them to come up to sign an autograph on the barrier and stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was just standing around the whole weekend, so I was able to mingle with a lot of fans.
And you were warm, you were ready to go
I was
at a moment's
warm.
notice.
The beauty of it being 100 degrees.
You're instantly
I was
warm.
just warm the whole
Yeah,
time.
instant.
I had the red zone on my phone, and then I was just watching those quick blowout matches.
Every match is sweep. Every match is sweep this weekend.
Yeah, they're making
Really? I didn't even think about
Men's
that.
and women,
Huh.
which is crazy, and it probably will never happen again like that.
right.
But yeah, good for the timing.
Yeah, it's funny, just for the podcast news is like so many people are coming up to me asking about the podcast, and they're so curious about what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So I was
It's like,
telling Trav.
Like everyone's asking, well, how are you going to do it? It's like, I didn't realize how, like, first of all, I'm so appreciative that everyone's so worried.
Yes.
Yeah, still do it right.
It's very nice.
Technology people. Yes. We're going to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah.
But we are also bringing in our guy, Kyle, here more often. So we hope you like him.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Feel free to give reviews, though,
Open for feedback. That's where we're at. And credit to you guys for creating a huge foundation of this podcast that I am just coming on the coattails of a very successful and well-known and well-admired, venture here. Well built.
Well built.
Very
Yep.
sturdy.
The pod mama.
Very sturdy.
Quality part of this.
Gabby's our structural engineer,
Yes.
Gabby Bourne. But since you have had a bigger presence on the pod, the fan response has been unanimous, 10 out of 10.
Awesome.
People have enjoyed, because you're so passionate about the sport. And I think that's what people look for the most is, are you passionate about it? You speak well about it, and you have great relationships with all the players.
Yeah.
So you will never be unfairly critical. Like, we're not bringing in Stephen A. Smith, Kyle friend.
Right.
You know?
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's helpful for me too. Like I'm a collaborator. Like I like having my co-host on the show and working with me versus me like having to like have all the questions. This guy's like a genius with.
It's nice. It's nice to have him around. It's nice. I know. Hey,
He's gone.
we're gonna be all right. We're gonna make this, okay?
See, me and Kyle, our volleyball knowledge is like been parallel. This
Yeah.
We literally started on the youth national team.
Same.
Like in
Yes.
I
2005.
always forget
Yes. Dry and I have
He's
been
like one of
buds
my
for
first mainland volleyball
very
friends.
long time.
Yeah.
Very long time.
So like I know what he knows.
Mhm.
I know the like the experience.
Yep.
Everything is like right there. So it's very nice for me to know that I have someone like
Mhm.
on my level that gets it versus like some new person like, man, I hope this person gets volleyball in some way, or, you know.
Yeah, we didn't go on ZipRecruiter to hire Kyle.
You didn't. You didn't.
Just let the universe,
But no.
volley gods
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
make it work.
And I was laughing when we were doing the fan question episode because we were talking, someone asked, like, what's the future of the pod look like? And like I told you, like, we're kind of winging it, but sort of not because you've been coming in the fold a little bit more. Savvy's going to be here. But I was thinking about, I was like, Kyle's now podcasting, coaching, and commentating
Yeah,
after
You're
playing.
like baby Travis.
I was like-
Travis Werder's resume right there. Just Travis trailblazing for me to just follow. Again, just riding those coattails. Like here in the pod, just following along. I must say, it's a good life so far.
It's fun, man.
I'm enjoying
recommend
it.
Yeah.
I recommend it. Yeah.
But how has this transition been for you? Because as you've been coming on more, people have been asking and you've seen a couple of the comments on YouTube. How's this phase been going? Kind of phasing out as a player, phasing into the coach media role.
Yeah. I'll say it's been very fun. And I haven't felt this huge urge or missing piece in my life that I'm itching to play or I'm missing out on these tournaments or anything like that. And so that is a confirmation to me that, okay, we're in a good place. We made the right decision. The timing, universe works in unique ways. One door closes, one door opens, kind of just how it works, how it flows. And for me, I've been really happy. It's been nice to take a step back from the quest to be the absolute best. I feel like for the last 7 years playing beach, it was one goal. Train super hard, get as good as you can, be as creative as possible, get as much information from different coaches as I could. We had Leandra, we've had Loyola, I've had April in our box, just trying to take as much as we could. And the pressure of qualifiers and points and partnerships and relationships and managing all that and organizing practice and finding money, staying afloat.
Yep.
As you know, it can be difficult in the beach volleyball world. And so there's a little bit of relief on my part to say, okay, 7 years of beach in addition to 5 years of indoor pro volleyball. So there's just a lot of years of volleyball that it's been one speed. And I've loved it. I've never...
You still got the 6-man though. So
well, we still got 6-man. 6-man's never going anywhere. But yeah, the passion and the motivation for me has never waned necessarily. There's always been joy for me to go to practice. It's never really been, I don't want to practice. A little bit at the end of last year. Tim will tell you this, but a little bit. And because we traveled so much last year, we did every event we could, all the AVP stops, tons of overseas. And, you've been doing it forever. The grind. I've only been doing the overseas grind for a little bit. And at the end of last year was the first time in my career where I didn't feel super motivated to practice. And the passion was like, okay, like we'll just get out there and we'll just get it done. It's not going to be pretty. We'll just practice, And so that was a kind of also indicator for me that was the first time I had felt that. Because like I said, most of the time I'm happy to practice. I don't care what we're doing. I'm touching the volleyball on the beach. I'm like so happy. It's good. It's good to be. So right now, the focus was to finish this year with Tim, play as many as we could. Then the job opportunity came for Volleyball World. And I was like, oof, I can't say no to this job opportunity. I'm like, Tim, you're going to have to find someone else, dial it in and make it work. And so once I stopped playing, I helped Tim and Jake in Manhattan Beach. I wasn't really planning to coach necessarily. I coached at Concordia. I was a grad assistant there for 2 years for the men's indoor team. Super fun. Loved it. Loved seeing the kids work on things you're working on, be appreciative.
Were you with Seif?
No, Seif wasn't there yet.
Got it.
Yeah, it was Sean Patchell.
Okay.
Sean Patchell.
Which that's the connection.
Junior national team.
Youth and junior national team. He was our
Sean Patchell.
He was our assistant coach for our youth national team with Tri, and then he was the head coach, I think, for our junior national team with Tri. So again, a lot of connections. But
both on those teams.
yeah,
We're both cusp guys.
we were.
We spent a decent amount of time in that square on the bench.
Just in that square, doing some shakes and high fives, cheering. A lot of clapping.
Big bangers would shank all these serves, and then Patch would be like,
All right.
call one of us.
We got to pass the ball. I think that's why we did so well in beach, because we had good ball control. And it was like we weren't the big bangers necessarily on the indoor court. But
Sorry, you're coaching at Concordia.
Coaching at Concordia. Yeah, no, you're good. Coaching at Concordia. And it was very rewarding. I really enjoyed that. It was 2 years. But yeah, after this gig, after playing, the focus was Volleyball World. And then I started getting some text messages from teams about, hey, are you interested in coaching us? Are you interested in coaching us for Chicago? And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, why not? Like, I'm here. I would love to do it. And so I see it being an opportunity. I enjoy doing it. I have a ton of knowledge from the game and things like that. And so if I can mix that, just kind of like you're doing, I haven't committed to a college or anything like that, but if I could work with some pro teams that are maybe open to, hey, I'm going to be gone for a week this month. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks next month. If you are okay with me working with you while I'm back, then maybe that would work, something like that. But the messages have been coming, which is great. And it means a lot to me that people respect my views, my opinions on volleyball, and even I don't really have a coaching resume necessarily in beach volleyball. Just have a lot of playing. And so working with Lex and Dion in Chicago, working with Tim and Jake, now working with April and Alix, like that's really nice. And that feels, confirming that, okay, like we can coach a little bit, we can help some teams out and provide some insight and some knowledge. And so, the focus is commentary. For sure, in Volleyball World and that gig, I'm just so fired up for that, to travel the world with my guy here, and just so cool. And then coaching now is going to be, I think, something that's going to take up some more time as well.
Yeah, I think what you'll find that I found to be true is that commentating will make you 10x better of a coach, and coaching will make you 10x better of a commentator.
Sure,
just because it's a similar breaking down of the game in real time, and having to find different ways to communicate that to different people.
Yes.
In the volleyball world, it's one big audience, but finding ways to communicate a message to Tri and Kame and Betsy and Julia, now 28 different girls at FSU, it stretches you in pretty fun ways.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a unique difference between, I think just fans, like there's a credibility that comes with knowing that the person talking on the broadcast has been in the arena. Obviously, as a player, it's great.
Yes.
Like, this guy's also on the world tour today. There's one thing with, this guy that used to play back in the 60s is broadcasting, and like every once in a while he comes up and asks questions to like update himself on the sport, versus like, this guy's literally out there. When he's not broadcasting, he's down on the sand, like in the game. And I think that's extremely valuable in terms of just entertainment value that you're going to bring. And just you're going to have things to say.
Yeah.
You're not going to be BSing, and that comes off differently. So yeah, I'm stoked on my team here.
That's it. New SANDCAST team. Yeah, how was it actually?
20, 30, whatever. We're gonna be. Booth,
How fun would that be? Where's 2032's in Australia, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh cool.
36-ish,
Yeah.
Let's bring the boys back.
Matt, we're gonna pull this clip.
NBC resume.
Yeah. 8 years from now, we're pulling this clip.
We're coming, NBC. we're coming for you.
Also, I did lose a coach, so Kyle.
How funny would it be if you started coaching Tri?
Why not?
Why not? Oh, that would be so funny.
Oh, man, I'll just call Trav up like, I don't know how to deal
Yeah,
with,
at least
I don't know.
Have two, I'll be like, just ask Travis.
Just ask Travis. He knows
Now
what to
I
do.
have two people who can try to figure out this thing.
Well, never worried about your mind. It's just how can we keep you in one piece?
How can you stay on the court as long as possible?
Neck massages, maybe, and timeouts. Could use
Has
that.
the body been feeling a little better as of late?
Yeah,
Yeah,
hitting the rehab hard.
that's good.
Headaches a little better this last week.
It's good.
It's nice too. The rehab, usually rehab's very specific. You're not getting a swole. No, this one I'm getting swole, and instead of avoiding the neck and traps we usually do, we're going kind of opposite.
Okay.
Really hit it. finding weaknesses. Anyway.
No, it's
feeling
good. Yeah, good. I'm happy. Yeah. I'm glad.
Now, how's your body feeling? Because mine feels awesome.
Yeah. mine feels pretty good. I do have some little aches and pains in the shoulder and like the lower back area from like an injury a couple years ago that just seem to have not gone away. But for the most part, I feel very good. And that's been really nice. And I don't necessarily need to warm up my shoulder to hit balls at the girls at practice, which has been fun because Loyola sometimes will come in. The first swing is like, just like no heat, no pace. I'm like, Jose, like warm up a little bit. And I get it because I haven't warmed up once. And he's like, no, I just need a couple swings. A couple swings will be good. But the body's been feeling good. I practiced today with Leela, and I'm sure I'll be very sore tomorrow. I practiced last week for like the first time in 3 weeks, and I was so unbelievably sore in my core and my abs.
You forget.
It's like, oh my God, I practiced one day and like that's how sore your body is. Like, oh my gosh, you forget. Like you said, I'm hitting the gym consistently. So that's good. Like that's nice. Like I don't have to worry about being on the sand, practice, and then get to the gym and just be like, okay, here we go.
Like feel good workouts are a thing
Definitely.
too. And when you do those feel good workout, you think you're okay, I'm just gonna move today, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start like finding the burn that like feels good to you versus like I have to do jump training, I have to do explosive stuff. I have to do,
Yes.
And you're kind of forcing your way through stuff.
Yeah, kind of a little bit more creativity, in the weight room, and not so like you said, need to be jumping max or doing this. I can lift a little bit heavier at times and do things like that. So definitely still lifting, but I would say overall the body is really nice.
Yeah,
it's really nice. It likes the downtime. It likes the rest.
One of my moments this year, and I had a few where I knew that I didn't miss playing, was actually the Saturday of Hermosa. Mm-hmm. After we had played 6 total matches, 4 the day before, and obviously I'm getting served every ball, and I woke up and I wasn't able to lift my shoulder this high for a week. And like the shoulder to chest, like this area, like couldn't bend it. And I was like,
tight.
Don't miss this at all.
Don't miss this at all.
I'm good for another year. I don't need to play for another year.
Yeah, especially, for you weren't consistently playing up to Hermosa. You were just kind of a little bit here, a little bit there whenever you could, I'm guessing. And then like right into it, thrown into the deep end. Yeah. 6 matches. What do you mean they're not serving Andy? That's so weird. Why would they not serve Andy?
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It didn't. It really. I knew we were in bad shape when Andy started cramping, and I was like, "There goes any option."
How is he? Ripping jump serves and blocking. And 4 matches is a lot for anyone. Yeah, sure. It was so funny though, because he got the double hamstring cramps as we were walking over to play Miles and Alix Rangieri in our last match on Friday, and it was our 4th. And so we warmed up. He set me 1 ball, and I hit a high line into the net, and then we walked back. That was our warm up. But he chugged a couple beers to help the cramping.
Not the first time I've seen it.
He hit a serve probably like 7 points into it, and this thing was like 6 feet outside of the antenna. He's like, buddy, those beers are kicking in.
It's a trade-off.
I would have thought you had the beers hitting the high line in the net.
That was where I was at. But that was I don't miss playing anymore moment. One of the first ones was Huntington. Mm-hmm. When I was watching people just grinding through the qualifier, and the anxiety's high and the tension's there, and I'm like, I don't want to be there ever again.
Yeah.
Have you had one of those moments where you're like, I don't miss it?
I mean, yeah, I would say like Manhattan, kind of like coaching Tim and Jake and just being in the tent, feeling all that, tension a little bit, like that, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of stress. And I'm just like, oh, this is show up with my coffee, watch guys warm up, not have to stress about that. I think that was a moment for me because it was the first tournament that I didn't play necessarily. We were kind of planning on playing that, and then there were some conflicts, and then Tim was like, I'm going to play with Jake, and it had been a month and a half, 2 months. He's like, do you want to come back and play? I'm like, I'm not ready. You need to play with Jake. You have a better chance. Don't play with me. Like, I'm not ready. But I think it was just Manhattan, just kind of like being in their box and seeing how difficult it is. And we played 3 matches one day, and you're warming up, and it's just like, oh my God, it's a lot. it's a lot. And I looking back on it, you didn't know any different. That's what you had to do. And I spent a lot of years in the qualifier, and that was just part of the shtick, part of the gig is you got to grind your way through. And I had a couple of years where I was in the main draw, and that was just like freaking heaven. It was so nice to be there. But Manhattan and I just sat back and I was like, I made the right decision. I think I'm in a good place. I'm not like stressed or like, oh my God, I could do this better. What's these guys doing? I can play better. Like, no, not at all. And even practicing today, I have like bruises on my shins from kicking myself in the feet. I'm like, oh my God, when you don't play in the sand in a minute and then your feet start getting banged up and it's like, oh boy, I'm like, oh, this is good. This is good. I don't need to be doing this. Don't need to be doing it. It's fun to do it every once in a while. But yeah, it's great. I'm happy where I'm at, and I get to still, I think what makes me really happy is I haven't left the game of volleyball. I'm still in it. I'm still up to date with everything that's going on. I'm still mingling with all the players, all the people, which makes this sport so lovable, and all the passion that people have, including myself, for the sport and wanting to see it grow. I still have that desire to help the sport and to give back in whatever way that looks, and making an impact on the sport. No, not that I'm not playing anymore, I know that, but still be able to make an impact through coaching or relationships or building up the league or supporting younger players or whatever that is. I still get to do that, so I think the feeling would be a lot different for me if I was completely separated.
If you just cold turkey.
Yeah, if I cold turkeyed it, I don't think I would be able to handle that very well. Yeah.
Have you found that your competitive itch gets filled through coaching?
My competitive itch. Not quite. Yeah, not quite. At least not yet. I am nervous on the bench. I have a rush. I have my blood pressure. My blood pressure is definitely high. I'm like, during that match against Mel and Brandy, Miami, I'm like every point up, screaming and cheering for April and Alix. So I guess I'm staying competitive, in that mode. Because I'm so in it, and everything like means a lot. I know in Manhattan, there's times where Tim like misses serve, and I'm like, and he's looking right at me, and I'm like, oh shit, sorry. And he's giving me the death stare, and I'm like, don't look at me, like focus on the game. Focus on the game. I can't control this shit. I can't control this. Focus. Don't look over here. So that's a balancing act. I got to figure out the cover up and just have. Have that ready, or have my notebook up here by my mouth so no one sees anything. But it is fun because my ring will tell me like, oh, did you have a workout? I'm like, no, I just coached. And the heart rate, we're in stress mode. And so, I'm anxiety is still high, and you're still getting the rush, which is fun. Right. It's different than being on the court in the arena, but I'm still part of it. And when April and Alix do something great, I'm like fired up. So that's been fun. That's fun. Yeah.
I would have missed it. I think I would have missed playing if I didn't get that competitive itch kind of scratched via coaching. Yeah. But that filled everything I needed it to. I think it's the greatest feeling when you have, like, you make a little note in the game plan, and then it just works. I remember when Betsy and Julia in Hamburg were playing Rekka Orsi-Toth and Giadi Bianchi. And I said, hey, one of them struggles a little bit on line-to-line serves. And Betsy comes out, boom, boom, ace, ace on line-to-line. And Julia just looks over and she goes, I was like, yes.
Yeah, that feels nice.
Didn't hit the serve, but you just gave them the parameters like, hey, this might work, and it worked. It's like, fuck yeah.
No, that's a good feeling. We maybe I've had one of those with April and Alix, but definitely with Tim and Jake. I remember telling Jake something like, hey, the baby line is open, and he goes out next point, hits it, and he looks back over me and points to me. I'm like, it's easy. Just boom, just do that. Boom, it's open. He's like, oh, so easy. I'm like, oh, for sure. Super easy game.
I feel like coaching is a really natural transition for you, because you were always just having played a couple tournaments with you, you were always a very cool and composed partner, and you were great to have in the box. And I think the media thing, you've kind of been easing your way into that for a while, because you've been commentating indoor for a bit at Long Beach, right?
Yes. So last year I was with Long Beach all season with the men's team, which was super fun, being back at the alma mater, seeing a lot of my old teammates on staff at Long Beach, and getting to see some of these young athletes who we have some of the best in the world here at Long Beach State, which has been really fun. And, my first time commentating was in 2019 in AVP Austin. after losing in
right.
the qualifier. No, I think we made the main draw that year, actually, me and Duncan. Duncan and I lost to maybe Chase and Piotr, perhaps.
I feel like when you played with Duncan in Austin, that was your first small draw straight in.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. Good memory. But yeah, after I ran into Glazebrook in the lobby, he was with Rich, and he was like, hey, do you want to come on the broadcast tomorrow with Dane? And I'm like, yeah, 100%. Like, I'd love to. And that kind of just cascaded into anytime I lost in AVP, I was like, hey, you need someone to come on, like, for free. Like, I wasn't getting paid. I just wanted to help out. And knowing as a broadcaster now, when you have just 3 of you and you're cranking all day long, oh yeah, bring him on. We'd love to take a break right now. And so I'm sure those guys were happy, whether it was Kevin or Cam or whatever, was happy to take a break. And so, yeah, from 2019 to now, there's been this consistency of broadcasting, which I've enjoyed. And I enjoy talking about volleyball. I'm a volley nerd. I enjoy watching volleyball. Even when I'm not playing, I don't mind going down to the courts and watching a tournament, or whether it's in Orsaka. And some people don't love watching in general, but I'm not that guy. So I definitely like, yeah, not a big watching guy.
I like my coaches to love watching.
Right. Yeah. Not a big video guy over here.
I actually like it, but it bothers me if I don't have intention and I'm not like learning things.
Yeah.
So like when I just find myself watching just to watch, I'm like, wow, I'm just wasting my life here. It just bothers me somewhat. But if it's like intentional and we're just like fully broken down into like just passing,
Just watching this.
let's just watch passing. Let's just like, and then I go out in the sand with something. I love it.
Yeah, and then there's a lot to see, right? At one point, you can look at 100 different things, and I think I've had many coaches sit and watch film with me. I've watched with different players, and so that's helped me kind of figure out what I want to look at and when I'm looking. But yeah, Long Beach last year, which was a blast, just to have some indoor, and I love indoor volleyball. Like, I love watching men's indoor volleyball. It's so fast paced. It's nonstop action. The level of athleticism that you're seeing out there is wild. It's similar to beach, which is a ton of amazing athletes. And so, yeah, hopefully next year I can be back with Long Beach State. I think it's just great practice to constantly be doing this, doing indoor, doing beach, doing that, just constantly helping my skills as a broadcaster, and just like fine tuning and fine tuning. Like, there's always something you watch yourself and you're like, oh, I wish I could do this one a little better, you know, take a little bit from this one and clean this up here. There's always something. Whereas the fans, they may not have any idea that we said something wrong or we didn't like what we said there. But for us, we're just like trying to continually to fine tune.
And I think the more reps you can get with the brain to mouth connection.
Yes.
I think that's the hardest part. I think people don't understand is that you have to watch something and then half a second later have an eloquent way of breaking down what just happened in the 7 seconds you have before the next serve goes up. Yes. And then it's your turn to speak again. And then you have to eloquently speak about things that are happening live. And beach volleyball gets pretty wacky.
Yes.
Weird things happen all the time, and you have to sort of describe it. And I think the more reps you get with just that, taking what you're seeing and thinking in your brain and being able to deliver them in an eloquent, comprehensive manner, so hard.
That people actually like want to listen and like tune in to like hear you talk about it. I agree. And it just doesn't happen overnight. And I think, just like you said, more reps is better. And I'm luckily that Long Beach needed someone. Shout out to Matt Prosser, who was there before me for a couple of years and just couldn't give the time required. And so he's like, hey, are you interested in doing that? I'm like, heck yeah, I'd love to do that. And so hopefully they have me back next year at TBD. We'll see what that looks like and see what Volleyball World's schedule and see how many conflicts we have, and see if I can still do both. Yeah, that'd be the goal.
And I think refining your system as a broadcaster, and just in terms of how you do your notes and how you're able to sort of reference back to certain things. Because I had a system dialed writing, and then when you're broadcasting, you just have different note systems and different ways to take notes during matches and stuff. Well, I guess you've done some commentating.
Yeah,
I have my commentary book. Like, I had one notebook just for commentary.
Yeah,
that thing filled up real quick. When we first started podcasting, I was like feeling like I had to be that prepared, and I was like, yeah, that's not sustainable.
No, and because I think with the podcast, we sort of prepare just by living our lives in this ecosystem.
There's certain guests where we need to let's make sure we at least know how to say their last name.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely have to learn how to do that on the broadcast.
Yeah, which you get a team from Thailand, you're going to do some practice.
Or a pure
And that's-
corn.
Yep.
Say that 10 times.
Never foreign repat. Or pure chowder corn.
All I know is chowder corn. Corn chowder. That's how my brain would remember it.
But and that's another funny thing that happens is that you'll be preparing to do a match, and then all of a sudden it's flipped,
Oof.
and you have 2 minutes to prepare.
Yeah.
You were ready for Switzerland versus Germany, and now you're doing Japan versus Finland, and you're like, all right, don't know any of them.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I love when sometimes I'm like, I catch myself talking about, or we're wrapping up, right? We're wrapping up the match, and I'm talking, and I forget who's playing next. And so I'm talking as I'm wrapping and searching those teams who are playing next. And I don't know how my brain is autopiloting talking because I am focused on trying to figure out what's next. And then I still am making sentences, and then I find those names, and I chip it, I throw it in there right when it needs to be. And I'm like, I'm amazing.
And you're just trying not to say what you're typing.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst. Don't type in broadcasts.
Period.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice highlight. Period. She was singing that question. What?
His voice to text things good.
I'm
Yeah.
curious, like when I think of like the greatest coaches ever, right? There's something that they have, like they have their own culture, their own, what's the word? Philosophy, I guess, right? They have their coaching philosophy.
Yeah.
It's like the team that comes in is going to have to fit into their system, right? Whereas beach is a little different traditionally, but like, have you guys found like where you lie on that line? Obviously, you're still young coaches, so like trying to figure out, like Marcio, he's gonna do things his way. Like I've almost been coached by him before, and he's like, here's what we're gonna do. Here's how it would go. This is what I do. This is my philosophy or whatever, and this is how I coach. You have to like fit in my system. Whereas other coaches, like rookie, like this year, like you didn't do that to us.
Yeah.
It made sense, right? Not to do that. It didn't work out with Marcio because Hayden also was, here's how I play as a player.
Right.
I play or coach. I do this, this, and this, and instantly before we got on the sand, like I had the team together. We met. Before we got on the sand, they're like, no, it's not gonna work for me. It's not gonna work for him either. Sorry, try.
Crazy.
But I'm curious if that's come up in your guys' heads and like if that's like a long-term thing or if that's even reasonable in beach.
I'll just go first because I've had more coaching experience this year.
Yep.
I think I've learned very quickly that you can come in with no more than a loosely held idea of what everything should look like, because then you're going to have to adapt. And on the rare occasion, your practice plan stays exactly as you scripted it. But for the most part, because everyone is a little bit banged up somehow, and so you have to tweak it to, all right, well, these are the conditions today. Maybe we had a practice plan that was supposed to be kind of a decently high rep controlled day, but it's 20-mile-an-hour winds. So you can't, that practice plan would have been kind of useless. And so you have to tweak based on that. And then you also have to tweak it on the individuals. So if I talked to you the same way I talked to Betsy, it just wouldn't resonate. And if I talked to Julia the same way as I would talk to Cam or Betsy, it wouldn't work. So I think you can come in, like my philosophy was just more to ask questions in the hopes that leads whoever they were to the solution on their own. Because I think I can give someone an answer, but I think if you find that answer on your own, it's going to be way better.
It'll sink in more,
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I've been, where if someone tells me to do something versus me figuring it out on my own, it has way more stickiness and lasting power, because then you have that light bulb moment. And if it comes to you way different than I would have planned it, awesome, it still got there.
Right.
So I think there's like an ego death that needs to happen as a coach, where like taking credit, and I think this goes across any category, or taking credit's just kind of a bullshit thing to try to do. Whereas if the mission gets accomplished, who cares how it got accomplished, whether you came to that realization or not. I think adaptability is probably the number one skill that I've found as a coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I would echo those sentiments. You know, I think with April and Alix, I pretty much told them we're doing what I want to do. I don't care how many medals you have. We're doing it my way.
Put them away.
Put those things away, April. No, definitely not. I agree with you. I think it's being open, staying curious, adapting to the flow of the game, what's required every week, something different. After this weekend in Miami, we have little focuses that we want to clean up. And so, boom, practice has this focus, has this focus. And like you said, I love the idea of letting the athlete find the solution themselves, putting the pieces there, letting them see, okay, well, this feedback is now creating this opportunity. And, oh, now I have this shot even better. Okay, great. Like, that's perfect. You know, things like that I think are really cool. And just adaptability. Like, if I see April and Alix are like huffing, you know, and I was like, oh, maybe we did a little too much in this drill. Okay, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to pivot this next drill or just edit this next drill and make it a little bit more time in between points. Or, you know, I think early on, the first couple of practices I had with them, this big long practice list of things I wanted to hit. And it was like, you know, nonstop, lots of touches. I think I like the idea of high rep practices and just getting touches a lot of times, even if it's just off the box from coach. I think there's something about, at least I liked as a player, where I could have less variables and more control, and I could have control of my pass and I could work on my own. I don't have to worry about that as much, and I can work on something else by still getting the flow and the rep of the pass. I don't need a live serve here because that's not my focus, you know, things like that. And so it's staying open to ideas. And I'm constantly asking Alix and April, I'm like, hey, something you guys want to tweak? And maybe I'm asking too much, but for the most part, it's been pretty good. They haven't really given me a ton of edits in terms of practice plan and things that I want to do, but I think it's important to be adaptable and stay open. And I don't know if I necessarily have a philosophy yet set in stone after a brief stint.
Do you guys see it maybe changing over the years as you become more, like, you got 4 national championships under your belt?
Yeah.
LA Olympics coaching me now. now you get a new team, you know. Now is that probably something that would be a part of the... I mean, looking at we're talking about Marcio, he has a lot of those accolades. See that being part of the equation, or is it just a constant, like, adapting, and that just happens naturally, like confidence in the philosophy kind of thing?
Yeah,
it depends on who you're coaching.
Yeah, I think I basically want to look back 4 years from now and almost cringe at how bad of a coach I was in year one, because we look back at episodes 1 through 100 and we're like, ooh, buddy. And I look back at stuff I wrote when I thought that I was a good writer, and I was like, wow, that was awful. I would have done so many things different. And so I have no idea what I will look like as a coach in 4 years. And I just hope that I can look back and be like, this first year, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what we were doing in 2020.
I don't know what you were doing with him. I'm available.
But I think, but I think the foundation of, having a good relationship with your players off the court and having that trust, I think that should hold true 4 years from now. And just understanding that I'm going to do everything I can to get us to a common goal. And I think adaptability is probably the foundation of that. But in terms of like coaching philosophies and what I think is good now versus what's actually going to work in 4 years, like I hope I can look back and be like, ooh, sorry.
And I think being willing to explore with your players, you know, I think April and I have talked about that, and finding creative ways to solve the problem. It's not just this, we have to do it like this. Well, this might work too. Let's try. Let's try to see if this works. It's a collaboration. And maybe when you have a younger player, there's less collaboration perhaps, or there's some more coming from the coach of directing that focus. But like, when you're working with the pros, they've been playing for a long time. I mean, specifically, obviously, April and Alix have been playing forever. So they have a ton of great ideas. And so if you come in with an ego and say, no, actually, we're going to do it my way, like, oh my gosh, like, good luck. You aren't going to last very long at all. And so I think that's an easy fix to never to be like that and leave your ego to the side and just, staying curious, finding ways to explore, discovery and stuff like that.
It's all about the ego death.
Yeah. I'm looking like, it was 9 months ago that we started working together in Hawaii. And I look back on some of the practices early. I'm like, Jesus. Looking back, I'm like, man, I would have done a lot of things different.
I'll say I want to apologize then to April and Alex now for these 3 weeks of practice for what's happening now.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing I think about the way that we got into coaching is that it's not like I have to I did help teach Try and Cam how to play volleyball.
Correct. Correct.
And one of my favorite quotes was, I don't know if you've seen the Netflix docuseries. I think it's A Coach's Playbook for Life.
Mm-mm.
It's got Doc Rivers, Jose Mourinho. There's a women's soccer coach, Dawn Staley, and maybe, yes, Serena Williams, tennis coach. But Jose Mourinho, he was like, I'm not going to teach Ronaldo how to take a free kick, and I'm not going to teach Ibrahimovic how to do a header. He's like, but I can teach them how to play volleyball together. And I was like, so that was my whole mission. Like, I'm not going to teach you how to play volleyball,
right,
or Cam how to play volleyball, but I can maybe help you guys play as a team. Right. And same thing with Betsy and Julia, which helped. But now I'm sort of dropping the level at Florida State, where now there's actually a lot more skill acquisition involved.
Yes.
And it's a different coaching that's required. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, I mean, even a week in Tallahassee where I would say something that to Betsy and Julia and you and Cam would have been very obvious, and they're like, boom.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is going to be fun.
Wow,
yeah.
I just got a lot smarter.
So I was just explaining basically the concept of why you would set up a shoot set the way, like a certain way. And they're like, wow. I was like, oh, this could be really fun.
Oh, nice. That's great. That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna love you there. You're gonna bring in so much knowledge and passion and so much creativity, and you've been fortunate to be in the Mecca and seeing all the best do it. I mean, Florida State's super lucky.
Yeah, and I'm like Florida State is my entry level coaching.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like Brooke, I get to hang out with Brooke and Nick. Yeah,
the sacrificial lamb over here.
Yeah. Coaching 101. But yeah, it's I'm excited. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
New chapter ahead.
Yeah, new chapter ahead for sure. I'm pumped. It feels, I feel like I have a little bit of rejuvenation and some new energy. I think it's, I've been head in the books for 10 plus years, 12 years with volleyball in general, in the last 7 years with beach volleyball, trying to be my best at that. It's something new. And early on, the goal, we talked about it the other day with the Dutch boys, and the why and the goal it shifts constantly. Early on, it was, I just want to make it into a main draw. I just want to prove to myself that I can even play this sport. And then it becomes, I want to be the best. I want to make a semi. I want to make the finals. And so the goals shift. And now at the start of these new chapters and this new career for me, I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie in the game, and that's exciting because means I have so much more that I get to learn, and that I'm going to find out, and I'm going to collaborate, and relationships that I'm going to build with this all over the world. And so that's kind of exciting. I think when you're in beach volleyball for 15 years, the gap of what is possible to learn constantly shrinks.
Right.
You've got so much already. And so now I'm at this, like, I'm a child. I'm like Austin. I got this whole world, of coaching and commentary that I get to learn about. And so that's exciting. So I think there's a little bit of energy lift up and a little bit more of a passion and excitement coming.
Beginner's mind. It's a beautiful thing.
It's great. It's a beautiful thing, without a doubt.
And Austin, he's just excited about a whole new world of trash trucks.
Trash trucks now.
He's a trash truck guy. Every boy. Yep. And it's so funny because he says trash truck, but it's more like crack truck. And we know, and it could be anything that's loud. It's like a Prius over a speed bump. Trash truck. But Kyle Friend, where can people follow you on all your adventures now?
So you can follow me on Instagram at KyleFriend10, and that's pretty much
on the VBTV broadcast.
On VBTV broadcast, Long Beach State, hopefully next year on the men's indoor broadcast there on ESPN Plus, which is really awesome.
First ever head coach of the Miami Mayhem.
Yeah.
First professional volleyball team.
Right.
Beach volleyball team.
First ever. So there's only one first head coach, so.
Right into the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah. But yeah, those are the spots: VBTV, KyleFriend10, Long Beach State, Miami Mayhem. Catch us next weekend in San Diego. as we compete down there. So it'll be super fun. Excited
Yeah.
for our second, third week here of the league.
The San Diego event will be done, I believe.
Yeah.
To hear this, but
Oh, okay.
good job.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Great.
Great job now. Great.
Great job on maybe another 3-1, maybe 4-0 record.
Oh, man, that'd be great. That'd be great. We'd love it.
All the coach.
Oh,
Boys, appreciate y'all.
thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Super fun.
Shoots.
Later.
Boots.